Yeah. 너의 come never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool. 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah. I go low like undercover yeah. Wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 yes. You can't even guess me cause I'm baby.
Hello everybody, welcome to One Drink Podcast where we talk about one topic for one drink. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Oliver.
And this is our Medal of Honor show.
Yeah.
One of our favorites.
Yep.
Back in the day, we just decided to make this its own show.
Yeah.
Because
it was after we did like a full show on Medal of Honor stories, and we were like, man, we gotta do these.
It's just
every week.
Because every story, you know, we think it's gonna.
Every time you think you've heard it,
yeah.
Every scenario, a new one comes about, and you're like, holy crap!
And they're all just amazing.
Yeah. They're sensational stories about just extreme courage and bravery. And it's
I love it. All right, so this one, a war on terrorism, Afghanistan, U.S. Army, Kyle J. White. So this is a more recent war, well, 2007.
Right.
But different from
recent times,
World War I, World War II, and all the Vietnam and all that. November 9, 2007, Specialist White and his comrades were returning to Bella Outpost from Shura with Aranis village elders. As the soldiers traveled a narrow path surrounded by mountainous rocky terrain. Yeah, because over there...
There's pretty sure there's a docuseries that got made about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because as you're reading that, it sounds really familiar to me.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure they made... on that show. I think it's on that Medal of Honor show. I think this is one of them.
I gotta watch it. But over there, it was all mountains.
Oh, yeah.
And it was...
dude, they were stuck in shitty positions.
Easy targets.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
The bottom of ravines and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be in a worse spot.
Right. They were ambushed by enemy forces from elevated positions. Pinned against the steep mountain face, Specialist White and his fellow soldiers were completely exposed to enemy fire. Specialist returned fire and was briefly knocked unconscious when a rocket-propelled grenade impacted near him. When he regained consciousness, another round impacted near him, embedding small pieces of shrapnel in his face. Shaking off the wound, Specialist White noticed one of his comrades lying wounded nearby. Without hesitation, Specialist White exposed himself to enemy fire in order to reach the soldier to provide medical aid. So,
man got nailed with 2 RPGs.
Yeah.
And then got up.
And got
his boy out of there.
Yep. Yep. And that's the thing is like, you know, they attacked from high up.
Yeah.
Because it was just so... My friend was over there, and he was saying it was just...
Awful.
That's the best way to explain it. After applying a tourniquet, Specialist White moved to an injured Marine, similarly providing aid and comfort until the Marine succumbed to his wounds. Specialist White then returned to the soldier and discovered that he had been wounded again. Applying his own belt as an additional tourniquet, Specialist White was able to stem the flow of blood to save the soldier's life. Noticing his and his other soldiers' radios were inoperative, Specialist White exposed himself to enemy fire yet again in order to secure the radio from the deceased comrade. He then provided information and updates to friendly forces, allowing precision airstrikes to stifle the enemy's attack and ultimately permitting medical evacuation aircraft to rescue him, his fellow soldiers, Marines, and Afghan Army soldiers. Specialist Kyle J. White's extraordinary heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty, and in keeping the highest traditions of military service to reflect credit upon himself, Company C, Battalion Airborne, the infantry regime, and the Airborne Brigade in the United States Army. There's a lot of people there to... But...
It's crazy, just throwing himself out there to save people.
And then he got the radio for A, to
call in the airstrike,
and then B, to come and save them.
Yep.
Whew! That's crazy.
Yeah. They would all have been wiped out if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I don't know, but...
I mean, history would have been different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I mean...
What a crazy story.
Man, that's just... it's crazy.
Yeah.
The willpower.
Yeah.
Never
the will
give
to
up.
survive, man.
Never give up. Especially in pretty much the worst predicament being on that mountain.
Right. Right.
So...
All right, I'm going to take us to the story of Major Horace Carswell, U.S. Army, World War II. He piloted a B-24 bomber in a one-plane strike against a Japanese convoy in the South China Sea on the night of October 26, 1944. So he's flying this bomber, which looks like this.
Oh.
Solo. No escorts, no nothing.
Damn.
He's all by himself in this plane. Well, him and his crew.
Yeah.
But it's just this plane all by itself attacking these warships. Okay, so taking on the enemy force of 12 ships escorted by at least 2 destroyers, he took them on by surprise. He made one bombing run at 600 feet.
Damn.
That's 2 football fields.
Yeah.
That's low.
Oh, right.
He was 600 feet off the water.
That plane was...
That's a big plane.
Big plane.
That's a big plane to be that low. Can you imagine seeing that if you're on one of those ships, though?
You could probably feel it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean? Like,
whoosh. Yeah. With them 4 big-ass motors on it. Okay, so taking the enemy force, he made one bombing run at 600 feet, scoring a near miss on one warship and escaping without drawing fire. He circled, and fully realizing that the convoy was thoroughly alerted and would meet his next attack with a barrage of anti-aircraft fire, he began a second low-level run, which culminated in 2 direct hits on a large tanker. A hail of steel from the Japanese guns riddled the bomber, knocking out 2 engines, damaging a third, crippling the hydraulic system, puncturing 1 gasoline tank, and ripping uncounted holes into the aircraft. It also wounded the co-pilot. But by magnificent display of flying skills, Major Carswell controlled the plane's plunge toward the sea and carefully forced it into a halting climb in the direction of the China shore. On reaching land, where it would have been possible to abandon the staggering bomber, one of the crew discovered that his parachute had been ripped by flak and rendered useless. Ooh. The pilot, hoping to cross mountainous terrain and reach a base, continued onward until the 3rd engine failed. He ordered the crew to bail out while he struggled to maintain altitude and, refusing to save himself, chose to remain with his comrade and attempt a crash landing. So he made the crew jump out, except for the guy whose parachute was
unable
cut. And he just chose to stay with that guy, rather than just let that guy die in the plane by himself.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it, we'll try to land this bitch.
What's also crazy is he could still fly the plane after, the 2 engines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it must have been super, super difficult. So he stayed with his comrade and to attempt a crash landing. Unfortunately, he died when the airplane struck a mountainside and burned. With consummate gallantry and intrepidity, Major Carswell gave his life in a supreme effort to save all members of his crew. His sacrifice, far beyond that required of him, was in keeping with the traditional bravery of America's war heroes.
Wow. That is... that's a scenario I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, dude. And how often do you hear of a single bomber making a run like that? You know what I mean? Like, usually they're escorted by, like, fighter planes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To help fend off attack from the bombers.
And he just went...
And he nailed, got 2 direct hits. But flying that bitch 600 feet off the ground, it's a big plane. Whew. B-24.
Damn.
It's crazy.
I like it.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
But 2 good stories again each week. Well, I got plenty more, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, that scenario, you did, or
I think I did
a couple, like
1 or 2 other piloting ones, but not many. There's not many that pop up. But I don't think we've gone over one yet where someone was like in a bomber.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And let alone, he's just like, I'm not going to let him go by himself.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate, that's a hero.
Right? Oh, man. And, like, imagine how that other guy felt. You know what I mean? That must have been a crazy thing to feel. Like, knowing that, I mean, he probably felt bad because he didn't want the pilot to die, too. But just, like, knowing that, like, okay, maybe I won't die alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be because nobody wants to die alone.
No.
You know what I mean? Especially in a plane that's on fire.
Yeah, it's just got to be like
almost like
everything's happening quick.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you're like, wow.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Good stories.
Yep.
Good stories.
Yep. But anyways, guys, don't forget you can check out all of these Medal of Honor stories on both our Facebook and YouTube page at One Drink Podcast. Don't forget to click the sub button, hit that bell notification. Be the first one's notified when our new episodes hit.
Yeah. And just share with one person.
It's just one person. That's all we ask.
That's it.
Yeah. But anyways, until next week, guys.
See ya.
Cheers. Hell yeah.
See ya.
Dude, we're so good at this.